Hello again. I'm Sarah, and I want to remind you that we are always interested in your thoughts about our stories. Do you have suggestions on subjects you would like me to research and see what I can find? Write those suggestions or any comments below. I read every one of them, and thank you. On June 10th, 1935, a doctor drank one last beer to steady his hands before surgery. That single beer was the last drink he ever took. And what happened next, between that doctor and a desperate stranger who had reached out to him through a church phone directory, quietly became one of the most important moments in American history. And almost nobody knows the full story. I want to be honest with you about why this story moves me the way it does. Most of us, if we are being really honest, have someone in our lives, a parent, a sibling, a friend, maybe ourselves, who has fought something they could not fight alone. And most of us have wished there was someone who truly understood, someone who had been there, someone who could say, "I know, me too, and here is how I found a way through." That is exactly what happened on a Saturday afternoon in Akron, Ohio. Two men who had lost almost everything sat down together, and what they said to each other changed the world. It is May 1935. Bill Wilson is a stockbroker from New York, 6 months sober after years of destructive drinking. He has traveled to Akron on a business deal that has just completely collapsed. He is alone, he is discouraged, and he is standing in the lobby of the Mayflower Hotel, staring at the hotel bar. He can feel the pull of it. Here's what Bill knew about himself in that moment, the one thing that had kept him sober through the worst days. When the craving came, the only thing that helped was finding another alcoholic to talk to. Not a doctor, not a preacher, not a therapist. Someone who had been in the same dark place and understood it from the inside. So instead of walking into that bar, Bill walks to the telephone booth in the corner. He opens a local church directory and starts making calls. 11 phone calls. He finally reaches a woman named Henrietta Seiberling, an Oxford group member, who says she knows just the person he needs, a local surgeon named Dr. Robert Smith. A man who has been trying to get sober for 17 years, who has checked himself into hospitals and sanitariums more than 12 times, who, by every measure, has failed. They meet the next day, on Mother's Day, at a gatehouse on the edge of a large estate. What was supposed to be a 15-minute conversation lasted 6 hours. Bill does not preach, he does not lecture, he simply tells his own story, what drinking had done to him, and how he had found a way through. And Dr. Bob, for the first time in his life, feels understood by someone who actually knows. But the story is not over yet, because a few weeks later, Dr. Bob goes to a medical conference in Atlantic City, and he comes home drunk. June 10th, 1935. Dr. Bob has a surgery scheduled, and his hands are trembling. Bill gives him 1 bottle of beer to steady them. Dr. Bob performs the surgery. It is a success. And then, instead of going home, he spends the rest of the day driving around Akron, making amends to every person he has wronged. That beer is the last drink he ever has. From that day forward, Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob began doing what had worked for both of them, sitting down with other desperate alcoholics and sharing their stories, person by person, one kitchen table at a time. Within 4 years, 100 people were sober. By 1951, over 100,000. Today, Alcoholics Anonymous has more than 2 million members in over 180 countries. All of it growing from 11 phone calls and a 6-hour conversation between two strangers who had nothing left to lose. What strikes me most about this story is the simplest thing at its center. Bill Wilson did not save Dr. Bob by having all the answers. He saved him by being honest about his own struggles. He showed up not as someone who had it all figured out, but as someone who had been in the same darkness and found a crack of light. And that is still, 90 years later, exactly how it works. There is something in every one of us that only another human being who truly understands can reach. And sometimes, the bravest thing we can do is pick up the phone. If this story is touching something personal for you today, I want you to know that it is exactly why history matters. It is not just dates and names. It is people, real, struggling, remarkable people who decided to try one more thing when everything else had failed. And maybe you have a story like that in your own family. someone who fought something hard, someone who reached out when they had nothing left. Someone whose quiet courage shaped everything that came after them, even if nobody outside your family ever heard about it. Those are the stories worth writing down, and I mean that. The people who come after you, your children, your grandchildren, they are going to want to know who these people were, what they carried, how they kept going. If you have ever wanted to capture those stories but did not know where to begin, the free Family Story Writing Guide, linked right below this video, is the perfect place to start. It is gentle, encouraging, and effective. Because your family's story deserves to be remembered just as much as Bill and Dr. Bob's does. Share this one today if it moved you. Someone in your life needs to hear it. Hit the like button and subscribe to History Spark so you never miss a story, because we show up for you every week with the moments that remind us what it means to be human. I will see you next time.